They will have to learn to rise above their cultural conditioning, their attachments, their fears, their hostilities, their grievances, and learn through experience and through many stages of development to experience the presence of knowledge and to express its guidance, its power and its contribution in their life and service to others. Such a gift is being presented into your world now for the first time, a greater community way of knowledge, as it is practiced in the greater community. But it is very challenging. It is not that it is so difficult. It is that people are so dedicated to other things. To be guided by knowledge is to be in a very natural state. It is to experience one's own integrity. It is to have one's life and priorities in balance. It is to have one's relationships in balance. It is a very natural state. But people are living in very unnatural ways, being guided by their social conditioning, by their beliefs, by their ideas, by their grievances, by their political persuasions, by their nationalistic feelings, by their sexuality and by their hatred. It is shifting one's alliance, then, from any of these various things to the presence and power of knowledge that represents a great transition. There are those in the universe who have been practicing the way of knowledge for generations, who have achieved a very high state of clairvoyance, who have been able to produce marvelous creations in technology and art and in materials and processes that are beneficial to their societies. But such contribution can only flourish in a free and respectful environment. Given that most nations evolve around their technological development and their need for resources, forcing them into a situation which requires extreme control and adherence for their populations, knowledge has not been able to flourish in many places. But it remains the most fundamental spiritual practice in the universe. It is the source of all your world's religions. It is the intention that God used to initiate them to be ways of knowledge. Even in your world, religious traditions have been aligned with political forces, have been used by ambitious individuals, and have become institutions in and of themselves, seeking worldly power. The way of knowledge has become hidden, only accessible to a few who do not have these ambitions, who are free enough and who have the inspiration to search for the mystery of their existence. Never assume that technological advancement leads to spiritual awareness, for in most cases it goes in the opposite direction. As evolving races begin to develop technology, or to receive technology from the outside, they begin to experience tremendous power over their environments. They are able to generate wealth and privileges, to gain access to new resources, and to have new kinds of possessions. This is the fixation of the mind, but it is not of interest to knowledge within them, which becomes silent and latent within them, as other goals and other gods are sought. The power and presence of knowledge will be instrumental in guiding humanity towards maintaining its freedom and its self-sufficiency. It is the counterpoint to the greed, to the corruption, to the oppression and to the abuse that are so rampant throughout human societies and cultures. The quest for wealth, the quest for power, the quest for beauty, the quest for control, these are the obsessions that dominate the mind, but not only the mind of humanity. They are what dominate the minds of all beings living in the physical universe. You at least have the freedom to think some of your own ideas in most of your nations, and your religious traditions have been kept alive, which holds promise for opening a doorway to knowledge. You have a great benefit here, and yet even now your peoples are turning away from the mystery of their lives to seek greater power, greater wealth, greater leisure, greater pleasures, seeking to increase their possessions, seeking to increase their separation from others and their insulation from others. So you can see this emerging pattern even within humanity, fascinated with machines, fascinated with technology, believing technology will solve all the problems that technology creates. People lose their sense of themselves, of their greater strength, becoming ever more reliant upon their machinery and their creations and technology to solve things for them. You can see the emergence of a new religion here, the religion of technology. But humanity is still fortunate in that the power and the presence of knowledge have not been lost here and are still practiced by many and experienced by many. You do not realize how precious this freedom is, in contrast to so many other nations in the greater community where freedom is either extremely limited or non-existent. Ultimately, humanity may have a great gift to give to others, if it can survive the great waves of change and if it can maintain its integrity as it emerges into a greater community of intelligent life. Knowledge is the most powerful force in the universe. But it is only known to a few, and it cannot be used and manipulated by the deceptive, the corrupt or the unwise. With it, you would be able to discern the nature and intentions of any who visit your world. You would be able to discern, in accordance with others, and alliance with others, all the solutions that humanity will need to bring to bear to meet its great challenge in facing the great waves of change. With it, you will find the strength to persevere. You will not give up. You will not capitulate to offers of peace, prosperity and technology from opportunistic races in the universe. With it, you will maintain the awareness of humanity's essential value, and you will not trade this value for anything, not for power, not for technology, not for domination. You will moderate your behavior, even radically if necessary, to sustain the world as a habitable place for the human family. You will not fall under the seductions and inducements of the many races who will seek to gain access to your resources, who will want you to become dependent on their technology, engaging in their networks of trade, offering you trinkets from space, offering you the promise of wealth, saying that they live in peace and they can give you peace, offering to help you lead your governments, offering to teach your people their religions, offering to take the reins of the world on your behalf. You will not be deceived by these inducements, these offers and these promises, because knowledge cannot be seduced and cannot be manipulated by any force, be it human or extraterrestrial. For the experience and practice of spirituality to be shared in the universe, it must be translatable. To be translatable, it must be without adornments, without being encrusted with history and personalities, magic and miracles. It must be pure and efficacious. Otherwise, it cannot be translated from one world to another. It cannot revolve around worshipping heroes or heroines. It cannot revolve around the worship of an individual or graven images, because it represents something pure and essential within the individual. It must be discovered through experience, by passing through thresholds in one's life, through service to one's nation and service to life. The advancement of science and technology alone will lead you away from the power and presence of knowledge. Only if science and technology are in service to knowledge, knowledge being the prime motivation for the cultivation of science and technology, can they be truly beneficial. It is the motivation that matters. And this motivation either comes from the mind or from the deeper mind of knowledge within you. If you were to meet another being from another world, a being who did not share your language or your appearance, a being who did not breathe your atmosphere, a being whose history was far different from your own, whose environment was very different from your own, you could still communicate with this being through knowledge. You would understand each other's intentions, and, if you were well cultivated, you could communicate to each other through the language of knowledge, which is a language of impressions, images and signs. Thus, knowledge becomes the great peacemaker, the great equalizer, that which is common to all intelligent life, that which leads to the freedom of the mind and the freedom of one's life. Even if you are living in a constrained set of circumstances, which will increasingly be the case in your own world, even in your wealthy nations, with the power of knowledge, you can still live a fulfilled and fulfilling life, with relationships of a very high caliber, in service to others. This is essential and fulfilling to you and necessary for them. Therefore, you have religion with its complex ideologies, existing with or without a connection to knowledge. You have religion as an appendage to the state in many worlds. And you have states without religion at all, the state being the religion, the intentions of the state being the focal point for its people and populations. Knowledge is everywhere in the universe, but it has not been discovered or practiced by many. It represents humanity's greatest opportunity, because it will take a long time for you to have technological parity or to develop the kind of social cohesion you will need to deal with the greater community, where social cohesion is the norm. But knowledge will save you from error. It will prevent you from making critical and fatal errors. And it will prevent you from giving away your authority, your integrity and the reins of this world. It will give you hope when things appear hopeless. It will give you confidence when no one else around you has confidence. It will give you courage when others are terrified. It will enable you to remain free in an environment where others are not free. This is religion in the greater community, religion that is translatable, that is universal, and that is primary and essential. The customs, traditions and historical accounts that are added onto this are secondary and often of little value. Do not worship the form of religion. Seek its essence, its power and its intelligence. Knowledge is highly intelligent, far more intelligent than one's thinking mind. This is the high point of religion in the universe. It is not an escalation in terms of theological understanding, or in terms of ceremony, or in terms of symbology, or in the construction of temples and complexes. Its elevation is its practice in an essential form, maintained in secret and in free worlds, taken to a high level of expression and experience in the presence of great teachers, practiced away from the scrutiny of government and commerce, protected from the ambitious and the corrupted, the self-seeking and the self-serving. This is religion in the universe.